Today I have some Christmas decor DIYs for a merry little Christmas. For project number one, I'm using one of these $5 signs from my Dollar Tree Plus that I got last year. I actually painted the top of it with Waverly plaster chalk paint, but I wanted to leave a little bit of that distressing around the edges. Next, I printed off the saying that I wanted, "Sleep in heavenly peace," and I mirrored the image, so I printed it off so that it was backwards on the paper, but when I place it down, it will be the right way. And I'm going to be using some carbon paper and just tracing around the letters. I first thought I would just use a paint pen for this, but as I got on the first letter about halfway, I decided that was going to take too long. So I did use the paint pen to outline all the letters, and then I went back with a small brush and Waverly chalk paint and ink and colored them in. My original plan was to place this above my bed, but for the time being, I placed it on my mantle. Project number two is something that I've been wanting to try for a long time, and I just finally made myself do it. I'm using one of these small 6x8 canvases from Dollar Tree and some of these glass pieces, which were originally from Michael's, but I got them at a thrift store. They're $10 a bag, but I got them for $2 a piece. So I'm taking the silver ones, or the clear glass, and I am making an arrangement of a Christmas tree. And then I'm going to use a couple of the other pieces of glass, which are just kind of light color blues, and just I'm going to kind of mix those in there on top as if they were ornaments. And then I'm going to take a few longer pieces of the clear ones and make sort of a star for the top. And the next part is the part that I was really nervous about. So I'm using resin, and I've never used it before. I don't know why I was so nervous. It was really easy to do, but in all of that, I did forget to record while I was mixing and pouring. So you do mix both of these in separate cups, equal amounts, and then you pour them together and you mix them again. Once I poured it on top of my tree, I did have it on a tray, and I had the picture lifted up by a block so that the extra resin would run off the sides and it wouldn't stick to the tray. So once I did this, I pushed a few of those glass pieces back in place, and then we're just going to let it sit for 24 hours. The next day, I added it to a vintage frame, and this is how it looks. This is a little wood reindeer that I thrifted for 50 cents, and I'm going to remove the tag and remove the ribbon and give it a coat of Waverly black ink chalk paint. Once it had dried, I'm going to use some gold leaf rub and buff on the antlers alone. I used a sponge brush for this, but I did have to go back and use a small brush to get into some of those nooks and crannies. Once he was complete, I just tied the original ribbon back around his neck and I placed him on my kitchen island with some more of his friends. For this project, I'm using one of these frames from Dollar Tree. It does slide out the top so that you can replace the picture. And this is also some watercolor paper that I tore to the right size so that it would have those ragged edges. And then I have an IOD leaf stamp that I'm using, as well as another small stamp that I got from Tuesday Morning. Now I'm just using the stem on the IOD stamp, and I'm making a Christmas tree, so this I'm using as the trunk. I also want to mention that these ink pads that I'm using, I thrifted, and I have 2 different colors of green that I'm going to be using. Now this smaller stamp is a little easier to maneuver. It does bend a little bit, so I'm kind of maneuvering it as I go up the tree to make a Christmas tree shape. Once I have my general shape, I'm going to go back with the lighter colored green and kind of fill in the gaps. This is another stamp set from Tuesday Morning, and I'm going to be using these little berries right here along with some red ink that I did get from Dollar Tree. It's the Jot brand, and I'm just going to be taking these berries and placing them all over the tree in various places. Every Christmas tree needs a star, so I'm using one of these gemstone stickers from Dollar Tree. And once I get that on there, I'm just going to place it into the frame, and I think this is a very lovely addition to my Christmas decor. I did find that I needed a little piece of tape on the back to hold it in place so that it would be centered in the frame. That's all I have for you today. Thanks so much for watching, and if you haven't subscribed, be sure and do so. Give me that thumbs up if you liked anything in this video, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. Remember to share the chic. Bye now.